Hello and welcome to all of viewers in Nigeria and around the world to meet the news on global television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ubom Soro. A quick reminder, global television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. The Independent National Electoral Commission has commenced the distribution of sensitive and non-sensitive materials to various local government areas across Anambra State, ahead of the governorship election scheduled for Saturday, November the 8th, 2025. The distribution exercise, which took place at the Central Bank of Nigeria's branch in Awka, was supervised by the state's resident electoral commissioner, Dr. Queen Elizabeth Ogo, amid heavy deployment of security personnel. Uyi Agbomovuegbe has details.
Dr. Agu noted that INEC had made comprehensive preparations in collaboration with political parties, security agencies, and civil society organizations to guarantee a free, fair, transparent, and credible process, calling on Anambra voters to turn out for the exercise.
I am begging the people of Anambra, please, after all this preparation, everybody has put in something to make sure that this election is what it is. If you do not come out to vote, it's like making a very good food, pot of food, nobody to eat it, it will sour. I beg you, don't stay in the house and be telling people, and they say my candidate is winning. Come and vote for that your candidate.
On his part, Commissioner of Police in charge of election security in Anambra, Abayomi Shogunle, disclosed that the number of security personnel deployed for the poll had been increased from 45,000 to 55,000 officers, with an assurance that the police force had already done critical deployments for the electoral exercise.
And everything that is needed to be put in place to ensure that this happens in terms of security and logistics has been put in place. And part of meeting the timeline is what we are witnessing here today, which is the commencement of the distribution of electoral materials from the Central Bank Awka to all the local government areas in the state.
INEC says 16 candidates from 16 registered political parties are contesting in the governorship election to wrest power from the incumbent governor, and candidates of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, Professor Chukuma Soludo. Uyi Agbomovuegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
Experts in Nigeria have been reacting to comments by former U.S. President Donald Trump, who insists that Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Trump, in a video released by White House, alleged that thousands of Christians are being killed by radical groups, a claim that has sparked widespread debate. Over to Zara Nazir for details.
In an interview with Global Television, political and security analyst Professor Ibrahim Abubakar explained that Trump's remarks underscore the growing international concern about insecurity in Nigeria, particularly the religious undertones of some violent attacks.
Trump is only coming in because Nigeria refused to be independent. No, it is not. Go and look at the documents very well, which our fathers signed in 1960. Nigeria became a nation, not an independent nation. So you cannot say they gave you independence. There is nothing like independent in that document. I must name a dog with a bad name to slaughter it. So we have to be slaughtered because we have been termed a genocide nation.
Public policy consultant Emmanuel Ozumena also spoke to Global Television on the possible diplomatic implications of Trump's statement, especially if Washington decides to take further action.
Read what President Trump said. So he was specific. So if they are coming to take out the terrorists, if I was an advisor to the president, I would say, okay, Mr. President, why don't we get the Minister of Foreign Affairs to get his colleague, Secretary Rubio, who incidentally is close to Trump, because he's a top-ranking, the president, vice president, the next person is Secretary of State. Get him to that we welcome this military action.
The US politician has previously accused Nigerian authorities of failing to stop attacks on Christian communities and even threatened to deploy the US Department of War if what he called a Christian genocide continues, while the Nigerian government is yet to officially respond to Trump's latest comments. Security experts maintain that issues of faith and violence must be treated with caution to avoid further division. Zahra Nasser, reporting for Global TV News.
At the ministry's headquarters in Abuja, Global Television foreign correspondent Ramsey Inokabo has details.
The permanent secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Dunomo Umar Ahmed, who represented the minister, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, says the removal of fuel subsidy marked another pivotal milestone in Nigeria's fiscal reform journey. The briefing was a follow-up to the minister's invitation of Wednesday, 7th August, where he intimated members of the diplomatic corps on the programs and measures being implemented by the federal government aimed at achieving better life for all Nigerians. He said monies from subsidy is now being redirected towards social investment, infrastructure development, and education.
Previously costing over 4 trillion annually, the subsidy had become economically unsustainable and disproportionately beneficial to a narrow segment of the population. Its removal freed substantial fiscal resources that are now being redirected towards social investment, infrastructure development, and education. The savings have been reinvested through initiatives such as the Infrastructure Support Fund for states, the renewed Hope Conditional Cash Transfer Scheme, and targeted support for transport and food security programs.
The minister also said national security remains a top priority for the Tinubu administration and that there is a comprehensive approach combining military strength, intelligence, diplomacy, and community engagement.
Under this administration, the government is taking decisive actions to stabilize the macroeconomic environment, expand social investments, and improve national security. The government remains focused on national prosperity and economic resilience, continuing to implement far-reaching and beneficial reforms that are beginning to yield the desired results.
The minister assured the diplomats of the determination of Nigeria to continue to cherish and value the cordial relationship between her and individual countries, as well as international organizations. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
The crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party is taking another turn as the faction loyal to acting National Chairman Umar Damagum convened an emergency meeting of the Board of Trustees in Abuja. Our correspondent brings the report.
The meeting, held at the Bauchi's Governor's Lodge in Asokoro, Abuja, brought together key members of the National Working Committee, members of the Board of Trustees, and other stakeholders. The emergency BOT session aimed to address the ongoing leadership tussle within the party and chart a path towards reconciliation ahead of the forthcoming PDP National Convention. Speaking during the meeting, Acting National Chairman Umar Damagum reiterated its commitment to peace and unity within the PDP.
A time when some have sought to manipulate our courts and intimidate our judges, it takes bravery to stand for the truth and defend the law. The judgment is not just a victory for our party, but for democracy. And that, my dear party leaders and members, this is exactly what this moment in our national trajectory demands of us as an opposition. Courage.
Also in attendance were prominent party leaders who called for dialogue, discipline, and mutual respect among members. The PDP has been embroiled in a leadership crisis, with a faction loyal to National Secretary Samuel Anyanwu challenging Damago's authority.
The Executive Secretary of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, Architect Sonny Echonu, says collaboration with the Public Service Institute of Nigeria is key to building a more efficient and professional public service. He stated this during a strategic meeting between both institutions at TED Fund's headquarters in Abuja. Jumai Manson reports.
At the meeting, top management teams of TETFund and the Public Service Institute of Nigeria reviewed ongoing partnerships and explored fresh opportunities to strengthen capacity building and innovation across the public sector. Executive Secretary TETFund, Architect Sonny Echonu, underscored the need for continuous professional development to help public servants adapt to modern governance demand. He said, TETFund remains committed to supporting training and innovation that would drive national growth and enhance service delivery.
So I urge you to take advantage of those opportunities, but I didn't want to renew the assurances of having a lot of respect for the PSI and the work they're doing. And we are also proud of the collaboration.
In response, the Administrator and Chief Executive Officer of Public Service Institute of Nigeria, Barrister Imam Okon, said the visit is to deepen collaboration with TETFund and reposition the institute as a hub for all public service training needs. She outlined ongoing efforts to expand programs in leadership development, digital skills, and pre-retirement training, while introducing new initiatives such as Smart P and Lead P to prepare officers for higher responsibilities. She emphasized the importance of Peason's Exit Masterclass, designed to equip retiring officers with skills for a smooth transition to post-service life.
We should try to see how we can get people that would retire at least 5 years ahead, start preparing them for exit, because it's not easy trying to integrate after being in the civil service for years, now trying to integrate into the marketplace, because the marketplace is very competitive.
Both initiatives agreed to work towards a new memorandum of understanding to familiarize their collaborations. The partnership is expected to promote professionalism, improve governance efficiency, and align public service training with emerging global trends. With this renewed commitment, TETFund and the Public Service Institute of Nigeria are setting the pace for a smarter, more responsive, and future-ready public service. Jumai Manson, reporting for Global Television News.
Imo State government says it is sustaining its drive for infrastructural development, economic expansion, and improved welfare for citizens. Commissioner for Information, Public Orientation, and Strategy, Decline Emil Wumba, disclosed this while briefing journalists after the state's Executive Council meeting, presided over by Governor Hope Uzodinma. Our correspondent Amarachi Ibe reports.
At the government house Owerri, the Imo State Executive Council met to review progress on key projects and policies across critical sectors. Briefing newsmen after the meeting, the Commissioner for Information said the council deliberates on reports from ministries and agencies on roads, housing, health and commerce, among others.
First of all, the ESCO approved the purchase of various official vehicles for government services, and also approved 15% payment of consultancy fees to Tyras White Consort Limited for the successful review, reconciliation and recovery of the Federation's unremitted Nigeria liquefied natural gas dividends and unremitted oil revenue to states from January 1999 to date.
The council also received updates and approved the Cohort 4 Skill Up Imo project aimed at equipping more young people with digital and vocational skills for self-reliance and productivity.
The ESCO was also informed and approved for the recruitment of Cohort 4 Skill Up Imo project, and this process has commenced and it can be done through my Imo app. Imo people are advised or encouraged to apply as the recruitment is ongoing.
With a renewed commitment to transparency and accountability, the Uzodinma-led administration says it will continue to deliver tangible results that reflect good governance and responsible leadership. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe reporting for Global TV News.
Civil society groups have staged a peaceful protest against factory farming and multinational meat company JBS, accusing them of marginalizing smallholder farmers across the country. Our correspondent reports.
The protesters, comprising environment advocates, civil society organization, and local farmers, say smallholder farmers make up 70% of Nigeria's agricultural workforce, but remain neglected in government policies and international partnerships.
So right now, we are saying before JBS establishes tentacles in our country, in our communities, we have to do due diligence.
They argued that ongoing dominance of industrial livestock companies like JBS poses a serious threat to local food security, rural livelihoods, and environment, citing issues such as deforestation, water pollution, and unfair market competition.
Let's come out with our strength, with our energy. Let's come to the top of our voice that we say no to any type of investment that degrades our forests.
The protesters urged the federal government to prioritize sustainable agricultural practices and provide smallholder farmers with better access to credit facilities, markets, and climate resilience technologies. The group also called for stronger environmental laws to ensure multinational agri-businesses operate responsibly and sustainably in Nigeria.
You're watching the live broadcast of Midday News. When Midday News returns, U.S. President Trump orders airline to slash flights amid record government shutdown. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please do stay with us. In business, Nigeria has set a target to cut its greenhouse gas emission by 32% by 2035. Vice President Kashim Shettima announced yesterday at the Leaders Climate Summit during the COP30 conference in Brazil. Representing President Bola Tinubu, Vice President Shettima said the new target reaffirms Nigeria's leadership in Africa's climate action effort and reflects a firm commitment to global sustainability. The reduction plan, he explained, will be driven by two flagship initiatives, the National Carbon Market Framework and the Climate Change Fund, designed to attract billions of dollars in clean energy investment and support climate adaptation across vulnerable communities. The Federal Inland Revenue Service will on Monday officially unveil the Nigeria Tax Reform Act at a strategic stakeholder engagement session in Abuja. The event is expected to mark a major shift in the country's economic policy as the government moves to simplify the tax system and improve revenue efficiency. The statement, signed by the Service Director of Taxpayer Services, Dr. Lovett Onunuga, said she explained that the engagement is aimed at strengthening collaboration and ensuring smooth implementation of the new law. Travelers face mounting uncertainty over air travel in the United States after a directive to decrease flights at dozens of major airports went into effect today. The reduction has been touted as a solution to overcome air traffic safety concerns related to staff shortages linked to record-high-length government shutdown that has dragged on for more than 6 weeks. The Trump administration ordered airlines to decrease flights at 40 airports, including several major hubs, beginning Friday morning, with a 4% reduction that is set to gradually increase to 10% next week. On the foreign scene, Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos has declared a state of national calamity after Typhoon Kaomegi killed at least 140 people, leaving another 127 missing and unleashing devastating flooding across central Philippines. With the storm now heading towards Vietnam, the president's announcement of a national calamity authorizes the government to release funding for aid and impose price ceilings on basic necessities. Uyi Agbumofwegbe completes this report.
Floodwaters, described as unprecedented, rushed through Cebu province's towns and cities this week, sweeping away cars, riverside shanties, and massive shipping containers. President Marcos says it is unfortunate that another typhoon is coming, with the potential to become even stronger.
Because of the scope of shall we say, problem areas that will be hit, that has been hit by Tino and will be hit by Uwan. There was a proposal from the NDRMC, which I approved, that we will declare a national calamity. Because ilang regions na yan, there will be almost 10 regions, 12 regions that will be affected.
More than 1,500 kilometers to the country's east, tropical storm Fungwang is slowly building strength as it heads towards the Philippines' main island of Luzon, one that could reach super typhoon status before it makes a landfall on Monday. Uyi Agbumofwegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
In sports, the Nigerian Football Federation has formally lodged a protest with FIFA regarding the selection of South African and Beninese officials for the upcoming World Cup qualifying playoff between Nigeria and Gabon. An NFF chieftain has characterized this appointment as a violation of neutrality and a potential threat to Super Eagles' chances of qualifying for the 2026 World Cup. FIFA's match appointment list, signed by Gordon Savic, FIFA's head of qualifiers and international matches, lists South Africa's Abogil Tom as center referee, supported by South African assistants Akel Tusi, Granville Zwali, and VAR head Akona Zenith Makalima. Benin Hawkins Awo Dujo has also been named as referee assessor. That's it on Global TV Midday News. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using our Global TV NG. I am Ubong Usoro. Bye for now.